your period leaves you curled up in pain, exhausted for days, snapping at everyone, canceling plans, or wondering how this can possibly be called normal, then this episode is for you, because the truth is heavy bleeding, intense cramps, extreme fatigue, and mood swings every single month are often treated like they're just part of being a woman. But in truth, that has almost nothing to do with your body being dramatic, weak, or broken. And it actually has everything to do with a deeper imbalance, deeper inflammation, deeper stress, and actually a deeper disconnect from what your body has been trying to tell you. After working with women who have felt trapped and exhausted in their hormone symptoms for years, I've noticed something very important. The women who are often the most responsible, high capacity, self aware, and resilient are usually the ones who dismiss their symptoms the longest. They just keep functioning and they keep producing. They keep telling themselves that it's fine. I was one of them. And because they can push through, they don't always realize how disconnected they've become from what their body actually needs. And that's exactly why I'm making this episode for you. I wanted to show you why painful periods have been normalized, what your symptoms may actually be telling you instead, and why symptom management alone is not only enough. I want to also show you what it looks like to move from disconnect to reconnection. So, if as you listen, you already know your body feels off, this is exactly the work we do inside the Balanced Hormonal Healing Journey. And the good news is, I'm excited to announce we are opening for the spring cohort. It opens on April 6th, and the doors will close on April 13th, 2026. And we will begin the day after, April 14th. So if you want early access and you want the early bird discount, I suggest you go and you join the waitlist at lindseyalexis.co/spring dash cohort. That's spring dash cohort. And if you're listening after that time period, you can always find the full program details at lindseyalexis.co/balanced with a D. All right, so let's get into it. There's something a lot of women have never been told, which is that severe period pain is often associated with a higher inflammatory activity and underlying imbalance. In other words, your pain may not be random at all. It actually may be just information. So this episode is for the woman who is done living in survival mode. It's for the woman who dreads her cycle every month, for the woman who has been told her symptoms are normal, that it's okay that these things are happening. It happens to everybody, all the women. It's for the woman who is eating healthy, trying supplements, doing literally all of the things right, and still feeling like her body is just not responding. And it's also for the woman who knows deep down that there has to be more to this than just pushing through every single month. So one of the biggest reasons that women believe painful periods are normal is because that belief gets handed down early on in our childhood. We hear it from family, friends, schools, doctors, social media, and other women who are also struggling. The pain actually gets joked about. It's expected and it's often just brushed off. And the problem is not women sharing honestly. The problem is when shared suffering turns into the standard, because once something is labeled as normal, most people just stop questioning it. Instead of asking, why is this happening? Women just start asking, how do I survive this? And that kind of shift really matters. The moment you move from curiosity to endurance to resilience, you stop investigating the root causes and you just start managing the symptoms just enough to get by. And that survival mode becomes its own personal type of disconnect. It is a form of that self-abandonment that we often talk about. So your body is always communicating. Symptoms are not just random inconveniences. They're not betrayals. They are not proof that your body is failing you. They are actually signals. Heavy bleeding can be a signal. Painful cramping can be a signal. Fatigue before and during your cycle can also be a signal. Mood changes, headaches, especially migraines, because I was a sufferer of those. Breast tenderness, bloating, clotting, and just absolutely feeling completely wiped out can all be major signals. The problem is that many women have been conditioned just to override those symptoms. Oh, we'll take, a pill to manage that. We can take birth control pills. We can take Midol. We can take, Tylenol or Advil. We can take all of these things to try to lessen, right, those signals, to try to lessen the pain. We can push through it. Some of us just take the day off of work and lay on our beds or lay on our couches all day. We grab a heating pad and we just sit there all day, lay there all day. We binge watch Netflix, which I'm not saying is a bad thing to do, because 9 times out of 10, if this is you, you are probably one of the women who actually deserve to rest, because you probably are going and going and going, and you might even be the person who uses their period every month as an excuse for you to rest, when in all honesty you should be resting more often than your cycle. We often just keep going. Some of us just continue to go to work. We just deal with it. We suck it up, buttercup, right? We put our big girl pants on and we go to work. We are told to not be dramatic. Oh, it can't really hurt that bad. Oh, it's just a thing. It'll be done in a couple of days. Like we tend to just shove it down, right? And isolate ourselves from it. We don't complain about it. And we don't slow down, right? Like I said, we just keep going. So when you ignore those signals long enough, just like any other signal or symptom that pops up in your body, the body often tends to get louder and things get a lot worse. And I always tell you guys on this podcast, start as soon as the signals start healing as soon as those signals start, because you're traveling a path where things are going to get worse. And as they get worse, the more healing is going to be needed, and larger, deeper techniques are going to be needed, and it's going to be harder to pull yourself out. It's going to take longer, but it's not saying that it's not possible. So this is where we need nuance. Painful or heavy periods can happen for a plethora of different reasons. And this is not about diagnosing yourself through this podcast, right? But there are certain patterns that I see again and again in women dealing with hormonal symptoms. And one is hormonal imbalance, especially when estrogen and progesterone are not being well balanced. And that can affect how the uterine lining builds, how it sheds, which may contribute to heavier bleeding. You might experience more clotting, or might even have really intense cramping happening. Another thing is inflammation. When inflammation is higher in the body, the pain response can feel very amplified. So the cramps are not just uncomfortable, they can often feel debilitating. Another is chronic stress and nervous system regulation. We talk about this all the time. So when your body has been living in a prolonged state of stress, our cortisol level can disrupt the delicate rhythm of our hormones. It itself is a hormone, right? So it directly communicates with all the other hormones in the body. And when the nervous system does not feel safe, the whole body tends to struggle with regulation. So we're not just talking about your menstrual cycle with the cortisol levels, right? In your nervous system. We're talking weight gain like we did in the last podcast. We're talking about so many things. So this is why I say that the symptom itself is not going to be the root issue. The symptom is simply the messenger, right? Those hormones are messengers. Pain is a messenger. And if you spend years literally only trying to silence those messengers, then it makes sense that you still feel stuck, right? Especially as we start to enter perimenopause and actual menopause, things get a lot worse. So, this is a deeper conversation that I think more women need to have and need to be more aware of. So, yes, what you eat matters, and that is going to depend on you as an individual and what your body is actually telling you that it needs. I can sit here and give you a list of things, but half of those things may or may not work for you, right? I know for me personally, if I have avocado in any way, shape, or form, whether it's avocado oil or avocado like in guacamole, if I have that the week prior, to to my cycle actually starting, I have 0 cramps, 0 PMS, nothing. Avocado could be something that works for you. If you're allergic to avocado, there might be other things out there. So I'm not going to give you an exhaustive list of things to try and use, but do try looking it up and looking for ones that seem to make sense and work for you. You can test them out. Minerals also, yes, they matter. Getting your electrolytes in, like we talk about, especially if you're using my my 7-day morning rituals blueprint. The first thing that I recommend in the morning is your electrolytes and a glass of water, 6 to 8 ounces. Electrolytes, specifically Ultima electrolytes. All the other electrolytes out there are for post workout or pre workout. They are not daily hydration type electrolytes. So Ultima is the only one that I personally use and recommend. And it is meant for daily hydration. So minerals, yes, minerals matter. Sleep also matters. Getting quality sleep, getting deep sleep, getting enough sleep, your sleep habits, your evenings before you go to sleep, that matters. And again, if you have my 7-day morning rituals blueprint, then you were also offered the upgrade to have the evening routines as well. So there's that available for you guys too. And you can go right to my website to grab both of those. The next thing are labs. Labs do matter. And we'll get to that in a minute. But underneath all of those things and underneath so much of what women are experiencing is disconnect. We are disconnected from our body cues. We're disconnected from rest, like I mentioned. We're disconnected from hunger, from fullness. A lot of women don't experience those hunger pains, especially when it comes to breakfast. And then we also don't have a satiety happening. And that, again, those are all managed by different hormones in the body. Disconnect from emotional truth is another one. Like I just mentioned, we tend to shrink ourselves instead of expressing ourselves. Disconnect from our cyclical needs. We can talk about cycle syncing and how we go through these 4 different phases, and in each one of those phases, we should be doing certain things, we should be eating certain things, we should be exercising a certain way, and all of that should be changing week by week. But we have a disconnect around those because we're not taught those things. There's a disconnect from safety, like I just mentioned. If your nervous system is dysregulated and you have chronic stress going on, your body's not going to feel safe. So it's not going to feel safe to regulate. It's not going to feel safe to absorb the vitamins and minerals that you are putting into your body, or the workouts that you're doing, if you're trying to lose weight, like we mentioned in the last episode, safety in your body is another big thing that we are just not taught as women. And then lastly, we have a disconnect from the wisdom of the body itself. There's a lot of things that we're not taught about our bodies as women, and that's at a huge detriment to us as women. Luckily, there are a lot of resources online and in libraries and in bookstores and all kinds of things that you can start learning. And you can start learning about your specific body as well. Many women have spent literal years forcing themselves to live in a way that their body just cannot sustainably support. We override exhaustion. We ignore stress. We numb our discomfort. We keep performing. We keep producing. We keep trying to control the body instead of listening to it. There's lots of things that we try to control, that we try to override, or that we shrink, or that we don't listen to. And that's how we are raised to tackle the world. Over time, the body stops feeling like home and it starts feeling like a problem that needs to be fixed. And that is why the core message of this whole series is simple. The root problem is disconnect. And the solution to disconnect is reconnection. And honestly, that is exactly why I created the Balanced Hormonal Healing Journey. Because so many women are trying all the things. They've tried random supplements. They've done symptom hacks. They've done the surface level wellness advice. They've taken in all of the things that all the influencers online say to do. They've listened to doctors online on YouTube. They've tried the things, and no one has helped them understand how to reconnect with their body in such a way that actually supports healing. So inside the 90-day program, this is what we focus on. We focus on nervous system regulation so that your body feels safe again. We focus on hormonal support that is specific to you. We focus on deeper body awareness so that when these symptoms and these signals start coming through, you can say, oh yeah, that makes sense. I know why it's saying that. And we focus on sustainable healing practices so you can stop guessing and start understanding what your body has been asking for. And I say sustainable in such a way that we live busy lives. There's no getting around living a busy life in this day and age. And so having sustainable healing practices that us as women, as moms, as friends, as daughters, as people in the community, doing all the things that we do, we need practices that make sense, that fit into our daily routine, that are not these long, exhaustive protocols, that are not stressing our bodies out more, that are actually working. Because we need the results at this point in time. We don't need another blanket statement to be added. So, or added to our to-do list, I mean. So, if you are listening to this around the time that it comes out, if you want the early bird special for this spring cohort, because this episode is coming out at the end of March, almost the end of March, and the cohort starts right before the middle of March, right after Easter. You can get on the wait list now in order to get that early bird special, the discounts and things. And you can go to my website. You can go to lindseyalexis.co/spring-cohort. Make sure you have that in there, because if you go straight to the website, you're going to get to the program itself, you're not going to get to the actual wait list. So doors open. And again, this is in the show notes too. So don't freak out if you're driving right now and you hear this. It's in the show notes. It's in the description. So doors open on April 6th, right after Easter. And they will close on April 13th. And then, like I said earlier, we will start the very next day. All right. Let's talk about this clearly. Let's talk about what normal actually looks like. So a healthy cycle doesn't have to be perfect, but it should definitely not be debilitating. Mild discomfort can happen. Some shifts in energy can happen, but the severe pain that interferes with your work, your parenting, your movement, your mood, your sleep, all the things, the quality of life, that's worth paying attention to. So if you are regularly thinking, I can't function when my period starts, or I need to plan my life around my pain, or I'm exhausted for days, or maybe you think I feel completely unlike myself every month. Or here's a good one. I just heard this one too. I just have to survive this next week. This is not something to keep minimizing. Your body is literally asking for support. Why so many women stay stuck is because, in all honesty, we've only been given two options. One, normalize it, which we've done. Or two, manage it, which we also do. Very few women are taught how to actually investigate it with compassion and understand their body enough in order to bypass it. We're not taught to ask, what are the patterns? We're not taught to ask, what is my stress load actually like? And the better question with that one, how do I mitigate the stress load? We're often not taught to ask, how supported is my nervous system? I don't think I've ever been taught to ask myself that without the past 2 years that I personally have started to learn more and understand the nervous system, which is crazy. We are also not taught to ask, am I nourished enough? We're not taught to ask, am I living in a way that constantly asks my body to override itself? That looks like self-abandonment, which triggers self-trust, right? A lack of self-trust. We aren't taught how to ask, where have I become disconnected? We really have no reflection point on what connection with ourselves actually looks like so that we are aware when we become disconnected. My point in saying all of these questions and having you kind of think and reflect around them is that when you start asking better questions, you open the door to better healing. You get better answers. So you might be wondering, what does reconnection actually look like then? Reconnection is not something that I want to have like trending, right? It's not going to be easy work, but it is very powerful when you do reconnect with yourself, truly, not just a buzzword phrase. So it can look like slowing down enough to notice your patterns. It can look like tracking the symptoms without judgment. It's just data. Your body is just communicating to you, and that's it. You don't have to put anything emotional attached to that, or overthinking, or overprocessing, or overanalyzing. Just let it be. It can look like supporting your blood sugar, supporting your sleep, and getting nourishment more consistently. It can look like reducing your stress load that your body and your mind have normalized, or stress that you are aware of, but have told yourself there's nothing you can do about it. It can look like honoring your cycle instead of resenting it. Personally, it doesn't bother me every single month when my cycle happens. And I love every single phase of my cycle now. Before, forget it. I would be like, don't talk to me. Leave me alone. Give me chocolate. Sometimes ice cream. Right? So whatever that looks like for you, you can go from this negative state, this negative perspective around it, to actually enjoying it. You can use it as your power if you do it correctly. It can look like learning to respond to your body with care instead of criticism. And this isn't about becoming obsessed with this either, because that too is unhealthy on the opposite end of the spectrum. But it is about becoming available to the flow of your cycle with every single week for 4 weeks, 28 to 32 days, becoming available to understanding how it is connected to the lunar cycle, how it is also connected to the seasonal cycle, and so many other things in our world energetically. It's a very, very, very different type of relationship. So I want you to pause right here, and I want you to ask yourself, what have I been calling normal that actually feels harmful? Where have I been pushing through instead of paying attention? What if my symptoms are not proof my body is broken, but proof that it's trying to communicate? Answering those 3 questions is awareness alone, and that can shift everything. So again, your body is not working against you. It is simply responding. It's adapting. It's adapting to what you are pushing back against it. So if you are pushing back by diminishing it and making it smaller, that's what it's going to learn. Think of your body as a little child. It's a sponge. It does respond accordingly. You start healing your body. You start becoming more aware. You start being available and understanding and doing the things that actually take care of your body. Your body is going to show up more for you. It's going to change for you. It's going to push you forward and be more powerful. It's going to become something that you are absolutely in love with, that you constantly honor and are proud of. But when you keep pushing back against it, all you're telling it to do is keep shrinking, keep shrinking. And when that happens, your body does the opposite, and negative feedback loops become louder and louder. Your body is just communicating. If you have been dealing with heavy, painful periods, I want you to hear this very clearly. You are not weak. You are not being dramatic, and you are not meant to just suffer through this in silence, sorry. There is a reason that your body feels the way that it does. And healing begins when you stop trying to overpower the message and start getting curious about what it actually means. That is the work of reconnection. And if by the end of this episode, you have been realizing that you're done with the guessing, you're done with the minimizing, and you're done living in survival mode, then I definitely invite you to the Balanced Hormonal Healing Journey. Again, the spring cohort opens on the 6th, and it's going to close on the 13th. And if you join now, you get those early bird specials, and you don't want to miss out on those. You can find it in the show notes. Again, the address is lindseyalexis.co/spring-cohort. And if you're hearing this later on, you can just check out the full program details at my website, lindseyalexis.co/balanced with a D. So in the next episode, we're going even deeper. We're going deeper into the daily habits that may actually be making your hormone symptoms worse without you actually realizing it. This one that we're about to do, this is the one that's going to connect a lot of the dots between what we've talked about the past 2 or 3 episodes. Okay, so don't miss it. And if you haven't listened to the first 2 episodes of this 6-part series, please go back and do it now. You won't regret it. All right, guys, I will see you next time.